Hello everyone, welcome to this new video where I'm going to show you how to get the TerraFirmaCraft mod. It's basically a mod that works like an entire mod pack, completely changing the Minecraft experience, making it almost a new game within the game engine itself, adding new mobs, all kinds of items. This is Minecraft, okay? I know it looks like a different game or like I've installed 40 mods here, but no, it's just one, okay? So for TerraFirmaCraft, basically what we need is the mod itself, okay? Here we have it on CurseForge. It's called TerraFirmaCraft. It has 3 million users, 3.5 million. It was created 7 years ago and last updated a day ago. Here we have some images of the mod itself. So we just go to Files, then to Mod Loaders, and basically we'd select the one we want, in my case Forge, and pick the version that matches what we're playing. For me, that's 120.1. We'd click the three dots and hit download file. And we'll save this file by pressing Windows plus R, then typing app data. We'll go to roaming, then a Minecraft, and save it in the mods folder right here. Besides TerraFirmaCraft, you'll also want to grab Patchouli, which it says is a required dependency. So I'm guessing we'll get an in-game guide for the mod or something like that. Anyway, with that, we're ready to start with TerraFirmaCraft. As you can see here, we've got all the decorative elements, terrain, flora. If you're going to play this mod, I strongly recommend you create a new world instead of loading your existing world with this mod because it won't make much sense. Basically because TerraFirmaCraft, as you can see, changes everything. So keep that in mind, okay? That's it. Alright, let's say we're playing TerraFirmaCraft and we come across one, right? Okay, here we have gold, okay? Gold. Of course, we can't mine the gold yet, but there's a ton of it here, and it could be useful to us. We have this small native gold here. Not sure where it went. There it is. Okay? But anyway, we can smelt it and get a bit of gold, but we still can't mine it yet, okay? And here's a huge gold deposit, so we'll want to save this location. So for that, we'd use the J key, okay? In the journey map, we can press J, okay? And if we put the cursor here, at the position we're standing, we can see the item, okay? It shows here where it says raw diorite. If I hover over it, it says small native gold. So basically what we do is double click and here we type gold, okay? And we save it. So now if we had the map enabled, okay? Look, there it is. This gold marker appears for when we need gold, okay? Then there's also another trick. By the way, does the world pause when you press J? No, okay? See? So if this creeper is getting close and I press J, it'll probably blow me up. I'll switch to creative. What I wanted to show you is if I press J now and move away a bit, this is kind of cheating, okay? But whatever. Another trick for finding minerals is like you look at the chunks and here's something black, you don't know what it is. So you stand on it and what's it say? Calcite. Okay, well, hey, if you're interested, or schist, right? So you mark it, okay? Save. All right, let's see what it is. You guys won't be able to teleport, just so you know. Schist is marked right here, but no, raw schist. Oh, okay. Just the item itself. Well, it was nothing, okay? But look, here we'd find sulfur, so theoretically it should show up in the marker too. Sometimes it doesn't because the height isn't quite right and stuff, okay? But anyway, as you can see, there are tons of ores and it's super common to find them, but not be able to mine them. So this trick is definitely going to be really, really useful. Alright, how do we make clay and pottery in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft? So clay or the clay ball, also known as loam clay, right? See, here we have loam rooted dirt and here's the loam clay. Now clay is actually pretty easy to get in TerraFirmaCraft. Basically, here's a little guide explaining that clay is, well, a material we use for pottery. It can be found in two places, areas with at least 175 millimeters of annual rainfall, which we can check in our inventory. If we open E, we go to temperature. As you see, it says annual rainfall to 291. So around here, there should be some clay, all right? It might take a bit, but additionally, apart from the site I mentioned, we can also find clay under these types of plants we're seeing here. I'm going to try to find some clay deposits to show you in this area. Generally, areas with lots of rain will have vegetation because in the end, well, the vegetation leads, or rather the rain leads to vegetation. Identifying this type of clay is pretty simple if we look at these walls, okay? For example, right here, this is clearly clay, okay? So if I come closer and break these grass blocks, okay? For example, I break this block here, okay? You'll see it's going to give me clay, okay? And this way we get a super simple clay deposit, and we'd already have 5 clay, okay? And with clay you make pottery, which is through the knapping interface, okay? So if I go to utility and we head over here to clay knapping, we can basically make a fire-sized blade mold, a jug, a flower pot, okay? A flow pipe, and all of this then needs to be fired in a campfire, alright? How do we do it? Well, basically, let's say we want to make the vessel, okay? So we'd right click and break off these corners, okay? Just like it showed in the UI, and there we have the vessel without any issues. For each type of crafting like this, we're gonna need 5 clay. So yeah, it's that simple. Alright, how do we make a pit kiln? Pit kiln, very interesting. Alright, the pit kiln lets you fire pottery in TerraFirmaCraft. Basically, the process is pretty easy. Well, the process is quite simple. What we need to do is fire the pottery. Basically, we'll dig a hole or have the blocks surrounded by other blocks. I'm going to, if you'll let me toss all these items just to show you clearly. Basically, we'd place the block with V. Here we can place up to 4, okay? And now we'll place 8 straw here, alright? Can't add more. And 8 logs, okay? As you see, we can remove it again if needed, alright? And now we'll grab our fire starter, which I dropped, okay? And we'll right click on this. What's going to happen? A fire will light up, a fire that'll last, see there, time left, 8 minutes. So now we need to wait 8 minutes, and basically the pottery will be cooking, okay? I don't know if there's any way to access the pottery without breaking it. See? If you break any surrounding block, the pottery gets destroyed, okay? Unfortunately, like what just happened. So I'm going to do it again, and there it is. While it's cooking, let me tell you, I think there are other methods for this cooking thing, right? Like you could make a heating recipe, okay? As you see, it doesn't specify what a heating recipe is. This is just another method I'm showing you, but clearly you can grab a fire pit, and like I showed you, you grab a fire pit, put logs inside, grab the fire starter, light it up, okay? We wait there for it to light, and once it's lit, and as long as it has logs, we place, without any problem, a fire vessel and let it cook, okay? It's the same, but they're different cooking methods we can use at different times. Also, the fire pit, if you remember, also requires sticks, okay? I'll show it again in case anyone forgot. Basically, you throw a log, 3 sticks, and 10 straw, okay? Basically, we can use less straw, but 10 straw gives a 100% chance it'll work. We go make a fire starter here, and there it is. The fire pit is created, okay? I mean, no, it's that simple. What's up? Obviously, the fire pit, I don't know how portable it is. This doesn't look very portable, does it? If you break it with ash. So imagine, okay? So just keep that in mind. Let's wait for these 6 minutes to pass. Well, it looks like it's done. There are the 4 vessels, not sure if they're done yet. Dark red. Dark red. So they haven't cooked yet, right? Or is it just me? Or can I just not hold it because it's too hot? Let's check the temperature. Running at 15 degrees. I'll wait for it to cool down. See if I messed up, but I don't think so, right? This vessel didn't cook for some reason. I don't know if maybe... I don't know why. But anyway, theoretically we've got it now, okay? Oh wait, it says too hot to open. Ah, okay, okay. There we go. Now it works. Alright, alright. I just can't use it while it's this hot. Yeah, I wasn't getting it. With the other pot, it doesn't work that way, but we've got the vessel now, okay? Now we can store, what, 4 items in here, right? Which system's better, this or the fire pit? Well, the fire pit. Now, if I want to use it again, I can just use it again, right? 8 logs and 8 straw each time you want to smelt. Sure, you do 4 at once, but it takes 8 whole minutes. I don't know. That depends on you. That's pretty funny, isn't it? So yeah, it really depends on each person and all that. And also on what resources you have at that moment, because in the end, the goal is to survive. Alright, how can we use vessels to seal food? Well, I've already shown you how to use vessels. We're going to learn, or rather, get the vessels. Let's learn how to use them. Vessels are for storage and preservation. There's also the large vessel I see, which has tons of different styles too. Let's see, I'll place them. Man, they actually look super nice, huh? Seriously, I wish Minecraft had these items, dude. Is it that hard? Let's see, I'll place them. Oops, this one can't be placed. Ah, because it's not fired. The others are... There's a lot that aren't done, huh? Brown, this one works. They're super cool, honestly. So, well, how does it work? Well, the vessel, or large vessel, lets us store things, right? As we see, we can even seal it so no one takes it, and we can store food and seal it to basically double the duration, making the food last way longer. Plus, items cooked in the same batch can stack, because decay works differently too until you take them out of the fire pit and all that. So that's wonderful, right? I don't know if there's a way to show you. But of course, if I grab this cooked one now, how long does it last? Does the timer start already? Expires at 0:22. Okay, if I put it here and seal it, 17:28. Well, this thing about lasting a bit longer, it lasts way longer. So there you have it. And my question is, if I open it right now, nothing, the countdown keeps going, okay? So just keep in mind that they last like 15 more minutes, 70 more minutes, right? So super good. Let's see how we can store things with the V key, log piles, and all that, okay? All right, so you use the V key to place objects in the world as temporary storage, okay? Then just left click and you're done. Actually, there are many items on the ground that we can break just like that, okay? And then we can place them back down with a right click, okay? Now, on the other hand, we can also leave tools in different spots and so on. But for logs, for the trunks, there's a mechanic called log pile. If I right click now, I place the log directly, but if I crouch and right click, I place a log pile, okay? So as you can see, I have an interface where I can put up to 16 logs in the same spot, and if I break it, obviously I get them back. So just a heads up, in this game or mod, if I fill my inventory with items, the inventory weight actually matters quite a bit, okay? Now, as you can see, I move much faster. But if I do this, grab the log, let's see, strip log, okay, and give myself 1,000 logs, you'll see I'm not as agile anymore, right? I don't know if you can really tell the difference, honestly, but let me just slash clear, delete that. Well, there's barely any difference, is there? But in theory, weight does matter, okay? I guess it probably depends on the mod pack and stuff. But anyway, there you have it. The thing is, keeping items out of your inventory might actually be super important, you know? All right, so how do we make charcoal? And the charcoal forge, well, basically charcoal is made by burying logs and lighting them on fire. Basically, it doesn't seem too complicated. We dig a 2x6 hole, okay? Let's do it like this, and I think maybe a bit like this. Let's make it 2x2 instead, right? And we'll put the log piles there. I understand you light this up, and now I get that you simply cover it, and as you can see, even covered, smoke's still coming out, okay? As we're seeing here, and theoretically, once the smoke dies down, we can dig it up to collect the charcoal. Plus, this is also how you make the charcoal forge, which is a frame of rocks around a 1x1 hole that gets filled with charcoal and lit with the fire starter and all that. I don't know if I've lit several or if they're all lit, honestly. I made a 2x2 and it looks like only 2 lit up, although I can't really tell. Since I can't see it, F3 plus B doesn't show it either, right? I can't see it. Okay, so let's wait for the smoke to stop coming out, I guess. Look, I opened it, and what shows up right now is a burning log pile, okay? I understand that if I open it, what's going to happen is fire will appear and it's going to burn the wood, okay? But just to show you guys a little bit what happens if you open it, okay? I think that curiosity is what kills us all. What I understand is the fire appears and burns my wood, and I'm left with no wood, okay? That's why you gotta put sand on top so that everything's covered to keep it all from burning, okay? I don't know. I'm gonna leave this one open here and leave that one there smoking. Let's see what happens. Look, see? There it burned up and the block was lost. Yeah, alright, so it's been quite a while. I gotta admit, I don't know. I don't really know where I buried it, but something tells me I buried it around here, right? Wow, looks like it disappeared on me. Oh, okay, I know what happened. I was supposed to collect the blocks that were left with the shovel. Oh man, and I broke them in creative mode. I had to collect them with the shovel, and that's where the charcoal would come from, okay? Geez, well, I waited quite a while, huh, for this to happen. Well, anyway, Theoretically, that's how you do it, okay? Well, there you saw it. I waited almost 10 or 20 minutes all to mess it up afterwards, but hey, at least now you guys know how to do it. Alright, how can we melt and cast metal? Well, throughout the world, we're going to find these deposits called native deposits, okay? I'll show you. In this case, it's granite, and these will be our first way to get minerals. There are other ways like breaking it directly into small pebbles and such, but I need to show you at least this mechanic. That's used for these types of blocks, okay? Let's go with the gold one. Basically, what you do is panning, which is this here, a pan, which we craft like everything else, and you get an empty pan, okay? Well, once we have the empty pan, it says 1, when the pan is in your hand, use it on the ore deposit block. While you're in the water with the pan in your hand, right click and you'll start panning. After a few moments, if you're lucky, you'll get a small piece of gold in your inventory. I'm going to place this. Let's see, I'll place the granite here. Okay, you right click and the pan fills up. Okay, see, it says filled pan. So now I should get next to the water, right? Let's do this, and you need to stand in water, meaning inside the water. All right. Wiggle animation, and did something come out? I don't believe it. How can you have such bad luck? Okay, I'll do it a few times. Seems like you need luck on top of everything. My question is this resource infinite? I'm asking because it looks like it, right? I grab the pan, right click. No, the block breaks. Okay, come on, wiggle, oh. It's pretty cool, huh? The mod. Okay, now yes, small native gold, okay? And of course, now you might be wondering, is the probability of getting gold always the same? So, will we always get small pieces, or is there a chance of getting large chunks? Well, I hope this is answering your question. I only get small ones, right? So, I understand that, yes, we'll only get small ones, okay? Native gold is an ore found below layer 70. We have native silver, tetrahedrite, malachite, cassiterite, bismuthinite, garnierite. Well, we have a bunch, so not bad, super interesting. And yeah, we can get those types of elements. Then to smelt it, well, there's not much more to it, right? Right here it shows that in a heating recipe we smelt it and get the molten gold. There's not much else, so there we have it. I'm going to show you how to make the saw, lumber, and crafting table. Once we've advanced far enough in the mod, we'll have the access to the crafting table, which is the first item you always craft, right? Alright, we've got a saw here. The saw is basically made with the first ingot we can get. With copper, for example, you can make a saw early on. This way we unlock the wood chain, the logs and stuff, which is basically the lumber. I'm going to chop this down. I think they'll give it to me. Let's see, I chop it, nothing. Stripped log. Oops, did I fall or what just happened? Stripped marble log. Sorry. So we take the wood, put it in the saw, and there we get the lumber, okay? And with the lumber, theoretically, we can get the planks, alright? So, well, there's not much more to it, right? This part here is just pure Minecraft. From planks, we go to a workbench, okay? There we go. Finally. And it breaks pretty fast, huh? I like it. So with this, we unlock the whole game, right? We can make chests, we can make, well, everything that's in Minecraft. Stair door. I wonder if we can make sticks with this. Because, yeah, up until now, making sticks was a mess. Yes. And can I make a pickaxe, or is that too much? A pickaxe is too much. Okay. I like it. I mean, we're going to have some limits, right? Like if I click on utility, well, we're seeing lots of crafting recipes getting enabled, huh? For sure. But there we have it, huh? There we have it. It can also be used as fuel, apparently. And that's how you make the saw, the lumber, and the crafting table, no problem. As for the saw, which I haven't talked about much, we're going to need an ingot, okay? In this case, bismuth, but basically we'd get the ingot with a mold, okay? We'd grab the mold with MBs, okay? And here it says bismuth bronze to make the saw blade, okay? But basically that, we'd fill the mold and that's it. It doesn't have much more to it, you know? How can we get flux? Flux is a key component for metallurgy in Minecraft TerraFirmaCraft. And basically, you get it by crushing rocks with a hammer. Let's see if that's true. And sure enough, you grab a rock, put it with a hammer, and you get flux. And what is flux used for? Well, we're seeing that blast furnace lets us get better ores. Heating recipe, we can convert it to lime, and that's about it. And then also to make an anvil, because here there are anvils. I see how to make a stone anvil. Basically, you grab a hammer. I'm going to grab stone hammer, I get it. And what you're going to do, well, the raw rock block has to be rhyolite, basalt, andesite, or dacite, okay? I didn't complicate things and went for andesite, okay? Why would I complicate things? Or it can also be igneous intrusive, like granite, diorite, or gabbro. We're going to need a hammer too. So basically I need to place, I think, 3 andesite and then right click. Wait, no, huh? Okay, so it doesn't have to be andesite. It has to be raw andesite, which are these blocks sticking out here, okay? Like the raw rhyolite and stuff. So now that I have the raw andesite, now yes, 1, 2, 3, right click and done. There's the anvil. Oh my god, we've got the anvil. Wow, so technical. Oh my god, well, that's on you guys, huh? No, I'm kidding, but with this we'd have the anvil, okay? And we'd have our first anvil without any issues. Remember, it has to be raw, okay? Raw, item raw, the ones on top. For example, raw rhyolite works. You mine it, okay? No, wait, I'm in creative, I was tripping. You grab it if you can, of course. And if not, just try to find 3 in a row and right click and that's it, okay? Or actually just finding 1, you already have the anvil. Just 1 block and you have the anvil. Okay, wonderful. Well, there you go, it's that simple. How can we use the Prospector's Pick to search for ores in Minecraft? Well, the Prospector's Pick is created by forging, okay? I'm going to show you. It's not made with the Smooth Bronze Prospector Pick, which is made through bismuth. Okay, no, of course. Let's see how the pick head is made. Basically, it's crucial for finding ores, okay? Okay, if I now right-click, okay? Above the blocks, it says, found a small sample of hematite, okay? As you can see. So what does this do? It's more of a local reconnaissance tool than a selective detector. Basically, you use it checking areas while you dig, and it helps you identify if it's worth continuing to mine, or if you need to change zones, okay? I'm going to grab the best pickaxe from what I'm seeing. Gima told me she found nothing. Small sample of hematite. Of course, at the moment, what does hematite look like? You know? It's this here, it's this here. So I'm guessing there's got to be a block with some hematite nearby. Oops, everything just fell on top of me. Look, see how I'm getting closer? Found a small sample, but here it says, found traces. I mean, I'm getting closer, right? Like, look, the whole cave's falling on me. Pretty cool, huh? Found traces. Okay? Traces. Small sample. Found nothing. Found traces. Let's see if I find it, eh? Okay, I want you to see this. If I right-click here, it says, found a medium sample. That means I'm getting closer. Nothing found. Nothing found. Found a large sample. And here, very large sample, okay? Traces, very large, very large. We've got to be close now. Very large. Large, I moved away a bit. Traces of native gold. Okay, this means we're pretty far, eh? From the native gold. Very large sample. Very large sample. It's got to be around here. Well, I got to be honest about my experience. This is all I've mined. The cave has collapsed on me 40 times and I still can't find the hematite. This is such a troll. I mean, found a very large sample of hematite, okay? I haven't found anything. It says a lot has been found. Gold? Sample of hematite. Gold? Hematite. Right, it's just not... Dude, can you give me a hint or something? This is just impossible. Seriously, it's super annoying. Plus, for some reason, when you mine, blocks spawn above you. See that? These are blocks spawning in and they fall in tons. Look at all that stuff falling. Look. It makes mining impossible. It makes mining impossible and it's super annoying, unfortunately, you know. And mining is one of the coolest things about Minecraft, but here it's just horrible. The system is horrible. I mean, I really like everything else about the mod, you know. But this part is horrible. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I need to place logs like... You know what I mean, like placing these things to support and prevent cave-ins, or I don't know. Maybe that's it, huh? Maybe so. Actually, that would make a lot of sense, but naturally it's pretty annoying. Alright, how to get started in TerraFirmaCraft. So basically, TerraFirmaCraft, like I said, completely changes Minecraft, okay? So much so that if we start and I try to mine a tree, as you see in the J up top, I'm practically unable to chop it down. And it's just not efficient to hit a tree, okay? A progress bar shows up, it takes forever, and I think even if you break it, it won't drop anything. The real way to start is by looking at the ground, okay? Gathering resources from the ground. As you can see here, we've got marble tweak, and with this we can make sticks, and with sticks a fire starter, okay? Well, we've also got these rocks that we can be collecting too, okay? You're seeing where I'm going with this, right? The first few minutes you'll need to focus on trying to get those items that stand out to you most, but basically, yeah, sticks and rocks. If you can get food, even better. But I'm telling you, this isn't an easy mod. It's not a quick mod, so patience. Look, there we'd have a limestone cobble, there we'd have a block. I'm also seeing we can pick things up by right-clicking. No need to break them. Look, there we found a small malachite. It says melts into 10 millibuckets, okay? A small copper ingot, okay? In case we manage to get, well, that, a way to smelt it. But this would literally be the starting point, okay? Then with the rocks, we do the knapping and stuff, okay? Which is this here, rock knapping to get other items and then start unlocking crafting and stuff, okay? Which is what I'm... Alright, very good. Since mining seemed really annoying, I've done some research, quite a bit actually, because as you can see, when you break blocks, stuff can fall on top of you. Yeah, I was having this problem where blocks kept falling on me and I'm like, this is impossible. So let's take a look at how to avoid this. Basically, this system is called cave-ins, or, well, it's spelled rumbling, and these are rockfalls that can bury you fast and take away a ton of health. Basically, what we need to craft are supports. They're called supports, okay? There we go, all these different types of supports, and it says support beams can be used to prevent collapses. Collapses can happen anytime a player is mining. And once one starts, any kind of rock can begin collapsing. The rock in caves, or rather on cave ceilings, is naturally supported. Any other rock that isn't a solid block also needs support. Alternatively, beam supports can support an area at a time. It says when degraded or graded or collapses, it can reduce quality, so be careful, okay? So yeah, that's what support beams are for, alright? It says to start, support beams are crafted like this with a saw and 2 logs. And to place a support beam, make a column 3 blocks high, and that's it. It says horizontal beams can be placed between them to connect 2 vertical ones, so 5 blocks apart, like in the diagram. Only horizontal beams can make surrounding blocks supported. Any block in a 9x5x9 area centered on a horizontal beam is considered supported. Also, rocks can be supported by simply having a solid block on top. Non-solid blocks like stairs and slabs don't count as supports. And chiseling can also cause collapses. So there we go. I mean, we've all seen the diagram, but we'd need to do 1, 2, and like this. And this reduces the collapses. Okay, I break all this, and now I cut the support and everything falls. I break one more block. Not yet, I'm gonna do it again. Okay, there it broke, everything fell, and it broke my support. This just became amazing. The support has to be touching the blocks above, right? Otherwise it doesn't make much sense to me, you know. Wow. Yeah, it says it here. To place the column, you need a solid block on top so it stays put, okay? So, it's important to have a block on top, otherwise this won't work at all, okay? Alright. Alright, so how can we find copper tetrahedrite in TerraFirmaCraft mine? Well, to locate this ore, the tetrahedrite, the copper, basically we need to grab the prospector's... Oh, look, hematite. Just like that. Oh my god, hematite. So yeah, we have to use the prospector's pick and look for the messages, okay? There's traces, which is small pieces, medium sample, very large sample, and adjust the tunnel direction. And well, obviously, we're not looking for a specific ore without, I mean, we're not going to find one super tiny specific ore deposit or whatever, but we're going to, when we find an ore, okay, I'm going to switch to creative now. I'm going to go down, I'm going to descend to show you here and see if I can find some ore veins. So you can see that when you find one, it really saves your life. Here we have what's this? Pyrite. Okay, look how much pyrite you find from just one, okay? But obviously the tricky part is getting to the ore, finding. Look, here, this might be the, no, this is phallerite. And this? Silver. But well, if I use the prospector, it says, well, sometimes it'll give me found nothing. Just ignore these found nothings, okay? It says, found a very large sample of bismuthinite. Okay, well, here we have it, the bismuthinite. So what do I recommend? Well, that you use the prospector. Look, here we have cinnabar, cryolite, or if you can manage to find a cave system, a cave system. That's why at the start of the guide I told you that whenever you found an ore, to save it, because really finding ores, I mean save it with J, with J with the journey map, because really finding ores is pretty complicated and pretty rare. Look, what's this gold? Well, everything here is gold. All of this you're seeing here is gold. Just so you know, once you find gold, you won't need gold for the rest of the game. I'm telling you. The problem's going to be finding it, okay? So you've got no choice but to keep trying until you get that ore. That's it. Sorry. It's part of the fun, making it extremely hard. And remember, I told you each biome also has its own ores and stuff. So if you don't find an ore in one area, it's probably just not in that area. If I understood correctly, right? If I understood correctly, but from what I understand, each biome has its own ores and all that too. So how can we use barrels? Well, first off, barrels, as you see, can hold both item types, objects and fluids. The center slot holds items and fluids go in the tank. You can fill the tank by simply putting a bucket or jack in the top left slot. You can also remove them by placing an empty bucket there, okay, by right-clicking. Basically, these are reused constantly as water containers or for chemical processes as a rule of thumb, okay? When full, they're heavy and affect mobility. Carrying two might even prevent movement. And when transporting water, if you spill it, it doesn't create a water source, it just disappears. There's also using seal, okay, to make everything last a bit longer, right? What could this be for? Well, storing water, for example. Blue dye also seems useful for tinting things, okay, for making milk, vinegar, and brine, right? Well, this depends on whatever we're interested in, but it's made with acacia lumber. If we remember acacia lumber, we need a saw, and that's it, nothing more. Alright, how do we make leather step by step? Making leather in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft is a pretty long and pretty specific chain. As you see, we need first of all lime water, okay, which is this. We'll need a barrel, mix water with wood, and that's how we get the tannin. And from the tannin, we'll then add a prepared hide, okay? The prepared hide is made by mixing water with large scraped hide in another barrel, which you get by taking a large soaked hide and using it with a knife, which you also get from a large rawhide and lime water, okay? The large rawhide you get from a large sheepskin hide, so we're going to need a sheep pelt. And then this lime water you get by putting water and flux in a barrel, okay? The flux, as we remember, is placing a stone and a hammer. And then, well, the other thing is just finding a sheep, right? Okay. Let's see. I don't know if it changes much. Spawn eggs. It's this one here. We should find a sheep. So we defeat the mob and get the hide there. Let's check out the knife. It should let us turn it into wool. Oh, this isn't a knife. It can be turned into wool or small raw hide, apparently. I don't know if it's random. Oh no, on both sides, okay? And there with the small raw hide, we'd go for the lime water, okay? We just need to put water inside the barrel and flux. And there's the lime water. It's important we collect the remaining water, okay? Because I had put a whole bucket in there. It mixes automatically. We have the lime water there, and now we place this item, right? Use lime water 300 milli something. Just so you know, rawhide is also dropped by many animals, and here it says it takes 8 minutes. It says it has to be soaked first, okay? To clean it before processing, this takes 8 minutes in a barrel with lime water. Oh, 8 hours. Yeah, well, I don't think you'll see it, huh? 8 hours covered, right? Well, no. Oh, yes, time. No, 8 minutes. Time left 7:55. See it? Okay. 8 hours in game each. Okay. And from there, we'd move forward, yeah? Then we'd do the small soak, pass the knife again, apply water, then with tannin, water, and a log, we'd have the leather, no problem. All right, we have the bellows here. So how do we raise the temperature with bellows? Well, basically bellows increase heat to reach temps that the fire pit or pit kiln can't, okay? And they're basically required to work metals and such in the charcoal forge. And at too high temperatures, the metal can also melt away completely. So the goal is to push heat when needed for alloys without going past the safe point, okay? Basically, as you see, if we right click, there it goes. It should be heating the block next to it, okay? See. Well, first of all, what's the recipe? Well, basically lumber and 3 leather, nothing more to it. What I'm wondering is, and what I'm asking is, I get that I place it on the ground and it heats up, or how does this work? Right, this one doesn't have any liquid but water. Let's see. I don't know if I can heat water. I fill the jug. All right, let me grab my phone real quick. Filler, there it is. I'll put it here on the ground now. Right, this isn't for heating, is it? I'm hitting the shot of my life here. No, this isn't for heating. But the vessel, if I recall, can be heated, right? Okay, I'll place it with the V. Now what? Do I need to put a block on top? I honestly don't know. Let's see if they tell me. To use it, just point it at the target and use it. The bellow pumps air into the device, reaching max temperature brief. Okay, so items on the ground don't heat up. Got it? But any item that needs heat can go here, no problem. I figure we'll learn more as we go, okay? Well, that's how it works. Alright, how do we forge and weld on the anvil? Forging an anvil requires a hammer and flux, okay? And a minigame. So let's grab something to work with. Let me see if I can clear all this stuff off here. New entry. How do I do this without placing the book? Wonderful, huh? Whoever created this system, I'm going to kill them. I think the other anvils have the same mechanics anyway, so let's check it out. Anvils. Well, we can put in any ingot, right? Let's head over there. Ingot. We'll place a bismuth one, which I think is pretty basic. We place it, and basically we have these markers. We should be able to place the flux and hammer, okay? It says, if the green and red markers align, the object is forged. If not, the metal is ruined. A low-tier anvil can prevent certain welds, forcing you to progress, and so on. For example, copper, bronze, this one's bronze, this is the lowest tier, okay? And how does it work? Hard hit, shrink, bend. Look, here we have the tier. Tier 0 is stone anvil, then copper, okay? Bismuth, wrought iron, steel, black steel, and so on. So I understand the first one would be copper, small native copper. This is what I think we'd be able to get, or at most a copper ingot, okay? So first thing we'll need to do is select a plant. It wasn't letting me. I guess it's because it's not within my level. I grabbed a better anvil, okay? And the first thing we have to choose is what we want to make. For example, a knife blade. And now this appears, heat last, draw second last. Well, I understand it's basically placing things, right? All right, so we have this red bar here, which is like our target. Of course, we can't click the red ones because we'd go left. So what we should do is move to the right. It says, not hot enough to work, okay? So we'd need to heat it with a bellows. That's where the bellows comes in handy, right? Not enough hot to work. Let's see. Wait, if I put it on top, no. It doesn't seem to let me, does it? What if I put a fire pit? This is getting complicated, man, because I've been checking and it's the item that needs to be hot, okay? I don't know if this speeds up the heating, okay? Yeah, if we'd managed to get the forge, that would have been good. But basically, once you have it, you place it and then you can start hammering however you want, but I need to select again. Not enough hot to work. Well, gotta keep going, gotta wait. And it's important that while keeping it hot, the last 3 moves, you'll see that it's not hot enough, but it's opening up, man. Well, the last 3 moves need to be identical to the ones shown here, okay? Alright, how do you produce iron with the bloomery? So, to scale up metallurgy, you introduce the bloomery. Basically, you need bronze and work a sheet on the anvil to craft it, okay? Here we have the sheet, okay? It's made with bronze, basically. The bronze is made with flux, bronze sheet in the welding too. The welding is basically, there you have it, huh? The anvil, huh? So don't be fooled. we'd need 2 bronze sheets and 1 flux to make a double. And to make the bronze sheet, we'd need a double ingot. And to make a double ingot, we'd need 2 ingots and 1 flux. And well, and the rest is history. So we'd have to use the anvil a lot and make a forge, okay? Not the cooking system I was using to melt materials, because in the end it's not efficient at all for keeping them hot, I mean. So you'd have to make yourselves a forge. With the right, to burn charcoal, make piles of logs, burn them and cover them with earth to keep that area hot so I can work comfortably and not like I was doing before. The problem is that Fireblock isn't available in creative mode and I can't place it. So yeah, spending another 20 minutes doing this doesn't really excite me. To use the bloomery, we'll need granite bricks. Just flip forward a few pages and click the eye here, okay? To place the structure, you right click and basically we're going to put the granite bricks exactly where it shows us, okay? Which in the end isn't really that advanced of an item, And there we go, completing the construction bit by bit. And finally, we place the bloomery here, which is what will allow us to, well, that granite bricks are made with mortar, which comes from sand and lime water, so pretty simple. For the granite brick itself, we use a steel chisel and a stone, and from there, so what we need to do now is grab charcoal, okay? And right click, and as you see, we can fill it with charcoal, okay? I've also seen that we can throw it in directly. I saw it somewhere, but it doesn't seem to work that well. So we can right click and fill it with charcoal, okay? Well, this obviously has a limit. And now what we do is put our item in, for example, limonite, okay? Which you also place with right click, okay? Ideally, you'd have more height and such, so it fits more, so more things. Okay, I've smelted it there. And so how does it work, okay? Now I'm actually going to explain it to you. Well, the bloomery needs cast iron. We search for cast iron. We realize that all the elements that have cast iron are going to be marked. You see it says melts into 100 millicubes, millibuckets of cast iron. Basically, we can get limonite, which has 10 millibuckets, magnetite, and hematite. All right, what we'll do is throw these elements inside. Probably what I'm going to do is break it, even though it's regenerating, right? Okay, I'll break the structure, no big deal. How was it? It was like this, right? The structure, okay, what you do is basically, first of all, you grab the limonite, throw it in, okay? And now you grab the charcoal and throw it in, and it's going to fill everything into something called molten. It'll consume the charcoal automatically, and here we could throw in the hematite and charcoal, so it looks like there's no more room, right? Okay, if this were taller, well, maybe something more would fit, okay? Let's try it. I don't know if it updates instantly the height. I mean, I'm going to check it. I'm going to throw in hematite and charcoal. Let's see if it works. No. And if I grab limonite now, will you let it through or not? Let's see this again. Limonite first, then charcoal. This isn't working. Let's pick it up. And now we're going to throw in all the limonite so you can see that the higher the better. And there we throw in the charcoal. And now this should rise up. Well, it goes up to there. Well, okay, so it goes up to there, right? Maybe it has a limit. So now what we'll do is grab the fire starter, right click, and let's see, and light the fire, okay? We're going to wait for it to light, and once it does, it says time left 15 minutes. For what? For nothing more and nothing less than the cast iron to appear, okay? Well, sorry, not the cast iron, for the raw iron bloom to appear. And from there, we'd get refined iron bloom, and from there, raw iron ingot, and from there, well, we keep going. All right, let's jump straight to the blast furnace. I know it's a big leap since we're coming from, well, smelting and all that to get iron, but let's learn how to make steel, okay? We just crafted the crucible. What's the crucible for? It's for making gold, copper, okay? And with heat, I assume underneath, we could get different elements. Look, there it is. The heat looks like it's made with a charcoal forge, okay? Again, I can't get that item. Fire charge. Okay, so it'd be with a charcoal forge, right? Underneath. So then we'd have, well, the option to go from this fire crucible to a normal crucible, and from there start getting some ores or ore mixtures, okay? Like rose gold, blue steel, red steel. Right? These are all weak ones, yeah? Sterling, silver, brass, bronze, black bronze, and weak steel, right? Alright, so then the next step is the blast furnace. It's this element here that's made with rough iron sheet, which we've already unlocked by unlocking iron, okay? In the crucible and the center, then we take the blast furnace, place it down, and it tells us you have to surround it with fire bricks, like in this build here. Okay, so we put the blast furnace here. The fire bricks go one here, another here, another here, another here. I don't really know what this is. I assume this is a fire brick. We break this one and the rest that go underneath. 5 out of 13. Where's the other one? Well, I think that's enough. It shows 0 out of 13, but there aren't any more. I mean, everything else, what is it? Tuku, 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 and Tuku here like something red, but that's it. It's just this structure, I think. It's just this structure, okay? Then at the end, this is a chimney, and we can keep building it up, okay? On the other hand, fire bricks are made with fire brick mortar, which I already showed how to make, and fire brick is made with a fire brick, and a fire brick is made with fire clay. Fire clay is made in a fire crucible, I think. A fire crucible, fire clay. No, fire clay, how do you make it? Clay ball, graphite powder, and kaolinite powder, okay? Well, here, each one, I understand there are too many items now. Everyone can look it up themselves. And this blast furnace will let us make stronger metals. The chimney can go up to 5 levels, and each level increases the amount of steel we can smelt at once with a maximum of 5. Same as with the previous furnace. With this one, we can also throw items in from above. We need to add an equal number of iron ore and flux items. Any iron ore or item that's available to be smelted will do it in your cast iron. I also have to add charcoal, which gets added to the blast furnace. Okay, I just learned how to make this unobtainable block. Basically, you grab a coal pile, hold right click with a fire starter on the block, and let me do this over here separately. Hold right click and it should convert. Wait, I messed up. You need to surround it with andesite bricks, okay? Let's do it like this. Tuku, 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 charcoal, then hold right click with the fire starter, and now we have a heat source. Finally, make sure it has the rough iron tool here, and now we just toss in the ingredients. Alright, how do we weave wool using a spindle and loom? Okay, good, let's set up the loom. We've got the spindle here. The spindle is used to make wool yarn, right? We get wool, if I remember right, by taking a knife and cutting, or rather separating the wool from the hide, and that's how we get wool from animals. Almost any animal will give us this material. So basically, you get wool yarn from here, and the wool yarn. Well, with this, we can now make the loom, okay? Important. We can make a fishing rod now. We have access to a bow, right? So watch out, we just unlocked some good stuff, even a name tag. And with the loom, we can use 16 wool yarn to make wool cloth, okay? Let me see if I can find how to make it. Loom. Here, yes, the loom. Wait, this isn't the loom, sorry. It's this one here, any of these. Let's check the crafting recipe. Yeah, so, with lumber and stick. You know, lumber comes from the saw, I think. Now, let's grab the wool yarn. I guess we'll need to craft several, and we put the 16 thread there. Let's see. And now we do the weaving, right? Nice, I like the animation, actually. When are we done with this? With this torture. There, I have the wool cloth. I don't know if I placed it by accident. Okay, I placed it by accident. Okay, and wool cloth gives us purple beds. Okay, it lets us make beds. Very interesting. And that's it. Just beds, right? Only beds and paintings. There's also glassworking, lets us make lenses. And then 4 wool cloth in a loom makes white wool, okay? So we take wool cloth again, put a 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat that process. It says 0 of 4 goes faster, maybe. 1, and there we see the white wool. White wool is Minecraft's wool. It lets us make wool in different colors, and also, right, to dye it. You do it through the barrel. But yeah, there's not much more to it. It's just a block, and that's it, right? Doesn't seem like there's much else. My question is, does it have gravity? Oops, a little buff, right? Does it have gravity? Nope. Oh, okay. Okay. If I break the one below, does it have gravity? No. All right, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, there we have it, huh? And we could have this from early game. So think about it, think about it. All right, so how can we use knapping with rocks, okay? And as I said, once you've gathered enough rocks, we can do napping to get these items here, okay? Basically, napping is the foundation of the TerraFirmaCraft mod, and you do it with rocks in hand. And we'd right-click to open the interface, okay? Basically, as you can see, we can generate a shape until we get the tool we're looking for. So how do we know which tool we're looking for? Well, press J, go to Utilities, then to Rock Napping, and let's say we want a javelin head. So we need to clear 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? So right-click 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And there we have the stone javelin head. Now the million-dollar question is, how much does this cost? Let's check it out. There, it used up one rock, and there it is. I've only used one, okay? And then what do we use this for? Well, to make a javelin, exactly, okay? Alright, now we have a javelin we can even throw, okay? We've got our first tool now. The mod's really not that complicated, huh? We can make hose, we can make a shovel, a hammer even. Let's make a hammer. Come on. It'd basically be leaving this like that and clearing this whole line. Nice, I've got a hammer. And what's this? Do I add a stick and it becomes the hammer, or... There it is, I've got a hammer now, okay? And with this, I could already break... Well, I could break this from the start, but I can break it, wow, way faster, right? Well, I don't really know what the hammer lets you do. Let's see, I want to see if it at least lets me break stones, but no, doesn't look like it, doesn't look like it. So, I'm going to show you a bit more of what else we can make. We can also make, well, a hoe head, a knife, an axe, a shovel. Okay, there's a bunch of stone hoe heads here, but, well, that's just how the element works, you know? But if we look at the specific element, we see there's not much variety. We can make an axe, right? Important. Make ourselves an axe, which would be a point here, okay? Let's do it. Right click, point here, point here. We do it like this with this one too, and like this with this one as well. And now we'd have our axe, okay? Now we grab this like so, this like so, and we have our axe. It might seem silly, but unlocking the axe is important, obviously. Now we can go get some wooden logs, right? And this is starting to get a little different. So yeah, that's how napping works, and that's how we can progress. Alright, how do we build sturdy houses? Because if we start building, we'll quickly realize everything collapses at the slightest touch, right? Well, basically, houses are made with wattle and daub. Basically, what we do is place the wattle, which is crafted with 2 logs, and the daub, which is made with clay, straw, and any type of dirt block. So, the daub lets me make mud bricks. Let's see, heading over there. Mud bricks. Also, if we wanted to make something cooler, we can craft doors with the saw. Important. For wattle, we can place sticks, okay, to make the structure more solid, right? As you can see, it lets me place sticks in the different sections of the wattle to make this structure much more solid. And finally, add the daub, okay, to have an unstained wattle. So, what's the advantage of this block? Well, of course I have to place the wood each time, but see how this solid block doesn't slip off? If you try to make a 2x2 with another block, it slips away. But this block doesn't. You can also apply dye to it, and that's about it. So this way we can build sturdy houses, alright? Also for sleeping, there's this thatch bed, which you can use to set your spawn and all that. And for that, you need 2 thatch blocks, which are made with, I think it's straw. 1, 2. And now we need to right-click with a large rawhide. Let's see, large rawhide, which is this here that you get from animals. Right-click, and there we have our bed, in case we want to sleep as well. Alright, how do we fish in TerraFirmaCraft mod? Fishing in TerraFirmaCraft requires forging a hook in the anvil, okay? For example, this one here, okay? Basically, we make a bronze sheet on an anvil and that's it, yeah? That's not much of a mystery either. But then we craft the fishing rod with this wool yarn and so on. Here's the fish hook, okay? That we'd place. And the fishing rod itself needs something to attract fish. Okay, a seed. Let's grab a seed, okay? This one, tomato seed. Should work, I think. Tomato seed. We place it, and now it has as bait tomato seeds. So when I cast the hook, as you see, it has tomato seed. I think one of the best is shellfish, okay? Like one of the best baits, okay? And also, as a simpler alternative, there's rye seed. The catch happens in real time. You grab the fish and finish it with the sword in case it escapes. All right, I'm gonna go with the sword. I want to see this, huh? I want to see this. What do you mean? Let's right click. Okay, there's the fishing rod. Let's see if we catch something before the rod goes. But what's supposed to happen? It's gonna spawn a fish. It looks so real. I mean, I gotta go to a river or something, because no fish are appearing. So anyway, I'm already seeing a river. There's fish here. Let's see what happens if I cast the rod. Watch out. Did I catch one? Yes, dude. Yes, dude. That's incredible. This is incredible. And I still have the bait. Ah, the bait is permanent. Let's go. Let's see if someone bites. Watch out. Okay, I got it. If I pull too hard, it takes the bait with it. I mean, it runs out. My bait stays, basically. I need bait, it says. Okay, this is the best one, huh? Is it the best or not the best? Come bite it, man. Okay. Tubu sword, Tubu. I'm out of bait, right? Watch out. He got it, huh? Okay. Polera sword. Okay, if you switch, ooh, either way you won't lose the bait, but you'll also lose the ability to fight it. Okay, right click. Let's go after the fish. It's getting away, huh? Time to sleep. There it is. Whoa, the mechanics are really cool, honestly. It makes fishing actually take skill, you know? I like it. A bit crazy, but that's the point, right? Nice. Yes, sir, I really love it, huh? Honestly, I love the mechanics. Alright, how can we preserve meat with salt, okay? Now it may seem obvious, but preservation in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft has several layers. The simplest is cooking from day one, right? Which is what I've been showing you. You just grab a fire starter and a fire pit. Come on, you set it up, alright? And you make your little fire there, no problem. And boom, okay? That'd be the most basic one. Well, putting in the logs and all that. Then there's another method, which would be doing it with salt. Basically, for salt, we'd go to the caves for halite, which is this stuff here, okay? We'd break this and get, I assume, the halite element. And basically, halite has one use, and that's if we put it on top of a quern, alright? With a sandstone, we can get salt. Look, here it says, halite is a mineral found in the earth in the quern used to make salt, which is important for preservation and can be found in large deposits found naturally in forests. It's made with vinegar preservation. It says vinegar is made in a barrel and all that, which is also true, and it can also be placed in small vessels. So there you have it. Remember, hover your cursor over it, press Control, and you'll see the explanation. All right, how do we make brine? In Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft, brine liquid is created. It's a type of refrigerant and fluid used to grind rye for rye flour, for fermenting, for whiskey and such, okay? Basically, we're going to get salt, which you obtain from granite and such. Salt, as you know, has different uses, like applying it to meat so it lasts longer, right? Goes from lasting 10 minutes to a month and 3 days, it says here, okay? Well, I guess it depends on the product and all that. So then what we can also do is put water and salt in a barrel, okay? As you see, I've done it. You put water, salt, and close the barrel so the mixture starts forming. As you see, it says 5 minutes left. Right, once we've got the salt water, we mix this salt water with vinegar, okay? For every 9 millibuckets of salt water and 1 millibucket of vinegar, we'll get 10 millibuckets of brine. And it's really that simple. The brine can be used to preserve cooked food or especially fruits to make them last longer in the sealed barrel, okay? As we're seeing here, it says instant barrel recipe, but I'm telling you there's nothing instant about it. As always, if you want to move a liquid from one place to another, just use the bucket, alright? So yeah, it's that simple. Alright, how do we make a composter and plant rye in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft? Agriculture in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft starts with the composter. It fills up with organic material that decomposes, okay? Here we have a bit of crafting done with ash, lumber, and dirt. It says, needs green and brown items to work. Different items contribute more to the amount of compost produced than others. You right click and, well, basically we can add ferns, we can add plants, okay? Let's see if it lets me, because it's not really letting me do much, honestly.
Look, dead brush. I figure these are things that are from the mod, right? And dead grass. So we'll add dead grass too, and that's it, okay? So there we have it full, and as you can see, it tells me time remaining 1 month and 3 days. It's turned into compost. So then you collect the wild plants, fertilize the soil, okay? Once this is composted, all right? There's the compost, and to remove it, you basically crouch and right click. Got it? So now we've got the compost. Now, basically, we'd grab a hoe. Well, it has to be a hoe from the mod. We'd grab water. We'd grab rice seeds, okay? And we'd place this. It tells us there's low hydration, 100% hydration. We add the compost. All the nutrients go up, as you see, and there we put the rice seeds. So everything grows perfectly, okay? Actually, it's telling me there's too much hydration, so we could move the water a bit by placing it here like this. Still too much. Well, don't worry about it too much. But anyway, 92 too high, and it's still too high. Well, it's pretty far now, eh? And good, 72%. Well, there we have it, okay? All right, how do you make rye bread and sandwiches? Well, basically, to cook grains in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft, there's a pretty clear process. We're going to need a heating recipe, so something that generates fire, the rye dough, okay? Which you get from rye flour, okay? And water, that's it. And the rye flour you get by taking the rye grains and grinding them in a quern with a handstone, okay? Not much more to it. The rye grain, as you can see, you get by taking rye and running it through, running a knife through it. And that's how we'd get the bread, okay? And then with the bread, we can, if we want, go to utilities and make different sandwiches, as we're seeing here, as long as we have the other ingredients. But anyway, as you can see, there's a pretty basic bread, the rye bread sandwich, which is made with 3 different meats and has 0 nutrition apparently. So yeah, it's that simple. All right, how do we raise animals and get dairy and eggs in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft? Animal husbandry in Minecraft TerraFirmaCraft is all about patience. We'll need, for example, a regular cow and then a bull, okay? As you can see, it says male. Feed them once a day so they get familiar with you. See there, it shows familiarity at 0. And basically, when the female trusts us, we can milk her to get dairy. And breeding, well, obviously, it's not instant, okay? There's a whole process that takes several days. And the concept repeats with chickens that lay eggs in nests, right? In a nest box. You can also pluck them. Same goes for raising pigs, for pork and livers and all that, all right? So basically, these animals eat grain, okay? Here we have 2 bulls. Now you see familiarity has gone up to 6. We'd need a cow. This is a bull or a cow, okay? We're raising the familiarity there. As you see, they eat grain, so that's what they need.
All right, how do we craft tools like the javelin? Okay, so once we figured out the mapping, right? With right click, we can craft basic tools like this one here. Oops, I messed up on this rock. Let's see. There it is. For example, we'd make this shape to get a javelin head. Then with the stick we found and the head, we've got another javelin, okay? You can also craft axes, knives, all right? Let's check uses with J. Here we can see a stone hoe head, okay? A hoe. A shovel, right? That's the crafting. A hammer. And here we have a knife. Let's go for the knife, okay? Which is basically right-clicking. Let's remove everything, clear it all out, and this point here. And now we'd have the head. Grab the head and a stick, and there's our knife, okay? There, for example, are some fish. I'm going to try to go after them, though it looks like there's a current, right? There it goes. There's current, man. I'm going to try to throw the javelin at them. There it is. And this way, what? Do we get food or not? Yes, there it is. This way we get food, okay? There we have it. And it even has an expiration date and everything. So this way we're already getting our first food, our first tools without any problems. All right. How do we craft a saddle and tame horses in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft? Transportation in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft relies on animals. And to ride and create a saddle, well, as you see, you need the leatherworking napping recipe, okay? Which is made with leather, and we simply follow this pattern here. It's like a way to shape the piece. So, to tame horses, male or female, you repeat the pattern of feeding them day after day until the animal becomes familiar with you. We can use any type of grain.
As you see there, it says familiarity is at 6, and as the days pass, the familiarity keeps increasing, okay? Now, you have to be very careful. Right, I've just advanced the days using creative mode. Don't give it bad food, which is what just happened to me, okay? Because if you do, all the familiarity is lost, just like what happened to me. And now I can put the saddle on it and ride it, okay? As we're seeing here, without any major issues. Alright, how can we travel quickly by boat along the coast? In Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft, exploring vast distances is normal, okay? As you remember, I mentioned there are continents that are massive, and you can't just sprint like in vanilla Minecraft. You have to move a bit slower. So we can move quickly with a boat once we can craft it, okay? The boat is crafted with planks, and planks are made from lumber. It's quite a process, but once you get it, remember this option exists, and you can travel through rivers much faster. Alright, how do we do gold panning? Basically, in TerraFirmaCraft, it's a simple system to get this resource. First you make a pan, this thing here, an unfired pan. Then we cook it and get an empty pan, no problem. Then fill it with gravel, and once you have the gravel, it's important your legs touch the water so the pan is completely submerged. And if little yellow dots appear, that means you're getting gold. Basically, it's an early way to get this type of decorative resource. So yeah, it's that simple. So how do we make paper with pumice? Well, for paper making, there are two methods, and basically, the easiest one uses hide, okay? What we need to do is find a volcano, which you can spot by the flames and such, and look for pumice around it, alright? Let me show you what pumice looks like. It's this item right here, okay? These little stones here that you'll find near volcanoes. So in a crafting table, we'll combine the pumice with hide, and as you can see, this lets us make treated hide. Then we mix that with eggs, maize flour, and lime to make paper, okay? And with the paper, we can craft other items like fireworks or name tags, right? Or whatever we want. So yeah, it's that simple. Alright, how do we tame pets and use commands in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft? So pets, dogs, and cats can be tamed in Minecraft with grains, okay? Just like any other animal in the mod, we grab grains, and theoretically we should be able to feed them, right? As long as they're cats from the mod, okay? So as you see, there are different types of cat. Cats spawn egg. This is a cat from the mod, okay? I can tell from the interface above. So each day we give it a bit of grain, and as you see right now, the familiarity is at 6. If a day passes, familiarity goes up and we can feed it again. Important not to give them expired grains because otherwise their familiarity will drop to 0. They won't obey from day 1. You have to be persistent and strengthen the bond by feeding them regularly to unlock a list of commands, okay? So let's feed this dog, for example. There it is, familiarity 35. Looks like that's the maximum. And basically now we should, there it is, you can give him commands, okay? We crouch down and right click. We can tell him to relax, tell him this is his home, tell him to sit, okay? Or to follow me, or hunt for me, or with me rather. So let's make him hunt this cat. Let's see if he listens. Come on, dog, hunt. I'm being a bit mean, aren't I, to my pet? Sorry about that, little guy. Well, that's how it works, okay? Relax. If I tell him to sit now, he dies, right? Oh wait, no, he just floats there. Follow me. Nice, nice. So yeah, it's that simple.
Alright, how do we make a fire pit? So now we've unlocked a bunch of the tools we've been using, like the axe, the hammer, javelins, and stuff. And we can try making a fire pit. Well, first of all, we have the fire starter, right? This fire starter, basically, as you see, it starts a fire. Well, as you see, be careful because it spreads pretty. And how do we get the fire starter? Well, with 2 sticks, okay? 2 sticks, 2 twigs, whatever. These twigs, right? You find on the ground, okay? You just place them like this diagonally, and there's the fire starter. And then there's the fire pit, right? We have the fire starter here. Basically, what we need are sticks, okay? Theoretically, with 3 sticks and a log, we throw them on the ground and the fire pit should work, right? Well, I didn't record it because I'm a genius, okay? But I'm going to do it again. You need logs, any type of log work. You also need sticks, and you also need straw or pine cones, okay? Well, these are basically pine cones, and the straw, well, I think you can get them by breaking these plants. Ooh, or maybe this type of Let's see, I don't want to get myself killed, but it's some plant, okay? I mean, there's not much more to it. Looks like they break with a hoe, huh? Looks like they break with a hoe. So you might need a hoe for this step. I'm going to grab a stone hoe. There it is. With a hoe, you get the straw, okay? And for the pine cones, of course, I don't know if I need a specific tree, but also hoe. Oops. With the hoe, we get sticks, huh? Careful, huh? The hoe seem bad, but it's not so bad, huh? Okay, so with these elements, okay, what we have to do is grab the logs. Let's say grab the logs. We need 3, it said, okay? No, sorry. A log, 3 sticks, and some straw. So the straw adds to your chances of success, okay? If I put 1 straw, I have a 10% chance of it working. So if I put 10, I have a 100% chance the fire pit will work. And now I right-click with the fire starter pointing at it, okay? I hold right-click, and there it forms. As you can see, it says smoke level 1 of 4, okay? It shows hot. Well, the temperature drops until it might go out, okay? If you walk over it, you'll get burned, like just happened, okay? In fact, even if it's still very hot, oh no, I'm not burning, only when there's fire. So now, how does it work? Well, very simple. We keep adding, we put, for example, wood here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, we fill it up and grab the fire starter, okay? Crouched, we right click and we can light it without any problems. So here we can place whatever we want to cook. For example, I've cooked some salmon here, okay? I'm going to eat it right now. Oh wait, no, I can't eat it. Well, we'd have it here, okay? The salmon, in case at some point I want to eat it, but we can put anything else here, okay? We can even melt materials and stuff. It's our oven, okay? Our cooking method. So it's as simple as that. Try not to have things nearby because, as you see, they start catching fire. Alright, how do we manage thirst? Okay? Right, thirst with fresh water, got it? In this case, river water. Thirst is critical in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft. It's this bluish line here. You can drink manually with an empty hand, okay? As you just saw, right click. But it distinguishes between fresh water and seawater, okay? Salt water reduces hydration, okay? Fresh water, though, I can drink directly. Doesn't seem to be affecting me at all. I hope I don't regret saying that. But it doesn't seem like it, okay? There are tons of things, but basically there's a portable solution, which is this. The jug, okay? Ceramic jug and unfired jug. It's made with clay, using knapping, I think. And the ceramic one is made by taking it through a fire pit, okay? Clay, well, we haven't seen it, but to get it, I think it'll be in the rivers. Look, here it's explained. Clay is incredibly useful and a balanced material that can be used to make pot. To find it first, the clay is hidden by the grass, okay? But it can be found in 2 places. In areas with rainfall, okay? Meaning near a rain runoff, which you can find in patches along the area, or it can also be marked by the presence of plants. Okay, here we have some clay indicator plants that can show us, okay, if there's clay. Let's check it out, and sure enough, okay, here's the clay. It wasn't hard at all, really. And to get it, what would I need? A shovel, right? Let's see, I'll break it. Ah, just like that. Okay, then with the clay, we'd make clay blocks or not, or we do the knapping directly, okay? Once we have 5, we do the knapping, okay? And knapping is 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, 4, tap. Wow, this is going to be tough, huh? 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't remember. I messed up. Oh, okay, I can start over. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, tuck, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, and also, okay, no, 1, 2, 3, tuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, and also okay. And there we'd have the unfired jug, okay? This is still useless, okay? We have to heat this in one of our campfires. So we're going to head to our campfire and place it, okay? And there it'll start heating up, becoming a ceramic jug, okay? Make sure there's wood. Oops, if it rains, the campfire goes out. I don't know if it gets to that point. The temperature isn't dropping, this is heating up. Well, for now we're good, okay? And we have the ceramic jug. So to fill the ceramic jug, I guess it's pretty straightforward, right? Right click and done. And there we have it portable and it's filled quite a bit. So yeah, it's that simple. I don't know if you can place it on the ground. Seems not, but you can pour the water out. So keep that in mind too, okay? So you don't spill it and that's it, okay? It can work like a bucket. So yeah, it's that simple. Alright, now let's talk a bit about nutrition, okay? Nutrition in TerraFirmaCraft really doesn't have much mystery, okay? But let's explain it. Food isn't just about hunger, okay? It's not just this green bar here that I need to fill up, and that's it. There are bars for grains, fruits, vegetables, and more that need filling, okay? Here, as you see, if I go to the nutrition tab, it shows grain, fruits, vegetables, protein, and dairy. Basically, you can survive on protein, but protein would be food like, well, this one. This one, shift. If I press shift, it shows protein 2.0, okay? So I'm going to eat it, okay? 5% saturation, I eat it, okay? My food fills up, and there you see the protein is highlighted. We can survive on protein alone, okay? But for maximum vitality, it's best to diversify. Look here, I'll show you all the foods there are, okay? There's a ton of fruits, okay? I figure you can get these in. There's a bunch. Let me see if I can find some bushes that give you berries, right? But lots of them, huh? I mean, the thing is, I think you have to wait for them to grow. Well, look, here we have a wild beet. Okay, look, let's see. This, what am I doing? With a hoe, right? And I think if you go without a hoe, it won't give you much, eh? Oh, no. Look, beets. And this already counts as a vegetable, okay? I mean, it's not that complicated either, huh? We have onion seeds, okay? That's for planting, I assume. Let's see. Hoe. Right-click. There it is. We have hydration, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And we could eat this right here. And as you can see, it's really filling in terms of saturation and all that. Okay, so now we know how to get vegetables. Fruits, well, those will be from trees or some bushes we can find around. And the grain thing, well, there's not much more to it, huh? So some bread or something like that. Look, see here, this bread grain. Okay, how do you make maize bread or barley bread? Well, basically, you heat the maize dough, and the dough is made with flour. Flour and water. Okay? And the flour? It's made with maize grain. You basically grab the knife. Okay, my question is, I grab the knife and I grab the straw. Well, maybe the grain part's a bit more complicated, huh? But anyway, this is something for you to figure out. Based on what you have set a goal, okay? The plants you break down, and based on that, you decide which foods are best based on the equipment you have nearby, okay? I repeat, you can survive on pure protein. And how do you get protein? Well, one of the easiest ways I've seen has been in rivers that are full of fish. But full means full. I mean, all of these are fish, okay? So yeah, it's as simple as walking up here, finding one of these fish and spearing it, you know? There you go. And you've got your fish. Just keep in mind, it'll get carried by the current, okay? So be careful with that. But if you manage to grab it, it's all yours. They're pretty filling. You won't go hungry, I promise you that. And I haven't seen any real dangers in the water either, honestly. So you can relax about that. So yeah, that's how the nutrition system works. I could go through every food item in the game, but I don't want to bore you all here. Alright, how can we understand biomes and geology in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft? The world generation in TerraFirmaCraft is realistic, okay? You have huge continents and geography inspired by Earth. As for the biomes we can find, they're honestly very different from normal Minecraft. Starting with everything, okay? But yeah, regarding geology, I want you to keep in mind the generation of, well, the generation. What Earth is like, okay? I mean, Earth has meadows, some forest, and you can find a bit of desert, okay? Here, for example, obviously this is a video game and everything is much smaller and you have to see everything condensed and much faster. But I want you to keep in mind that there isn't a super wide variety of biomes in this mod, okay? So basically, from what I've seen, there are 4 biomes total. A plains area, a forest, a little bit of a river over here. Also, the biome divisions are really clear. You know? I mean, look at this division right here. Then we'd move into the plains. Sorry for the stuttering. I don't know if removing shaders will fix it. No, it's not a shader thing. It's not a shader thing. Well, I'm at 5 chunks and I don't know what else to do. Nothing. Okay, here we'd also have water since I'm seeing an orca right there. Oof, scared me. My own shadow got me, man. That's an orca. There it is, see? So yeah, just keep in mind that when you change biomes, it's going to be for a while, okay? So keep that in mind, alright? On another note regarding mining, don't worry, there's no single biome for all ores. Minerals depend on rock type, the geological history of the area. Okay? So if you can't find a mineral, it's most likely because you're not in the right biome. So keep that in mind. Alright, how do we survive seasons and hostile wildlife in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft? Well, the climate changes by season and region. It gets colder or hotter, certain plants don't grow in winter, and some events only happen in summer. Plus, the main threat is animals like bears, lions. I'm going to show you some bears so you can see them. We all know that bears appear in colder areas or in forests. Here we have the grizzly bear, the black bear, the polar bear. We also have, theoretically, lions. I'm going to put one right here. A male lion. Let's see if I get a female. There they are, females too. He saw me sleeping, but when I get closer, you'll see they're going to wake up, and he takes half my life, eh? One hit. The polar bear hasn't wandered far either. Vanilla hostile mobs also spawn, but mostly in caves and not so much on the surface. But the real danger comes from the mod's own fauna. These creatures are really tough. A stone axe only does 4 damage. If I land a critical hit, I only take off 3 hearts, meaning I'd need 7 hits to kill this. 7 critical hits, okay? And that's without it hitting me back. Well, I don't know how you're planning to do it, but it's definitely tricky. And on top of that, when it's low on health, it runs away, you know? Over in the season tab, we can see we're in early summer, okay, the calendar section. We can also see the temperature here where it says climate temperature. It says average temperature 5 degrees. Okay. And current temperature 16 degrees, okay? I guess that's because it's still morning. And rainfall 336.1. 0.1. Sorry. So yeah, you gotta keep that in mind for the mod too. Hey, how can we be alloying brass? Which is this one here. Well, alloying is used to create, the alloying mechanics are used to create metals like brass. In this case, we have the crucible. So here we're also going to learn how to make a forge. What's this called? Forge? Well, forge, but the mod calls it charcoal forge or something like that, okay? Basically, we're going to grab andesite bricks, okay? And what we're going to do is surround the charcoal, okay? Let's fill this in. We right-click with the fire starter, light it up, okay? We place charcoal here and put the crucible on top. The crucible now, what's going to happen is it's going to start heating up, or it should start heating up, okay? There it is. And it's going to reach a point where it's going to be like this one here, okay? That it's super yellow, white, plus, okay? This will keep working as long as there's charcoal. So now we need to add the materials to make brass, which is 88% copper and zinc, okay? We can see this has copper, right? Millibuckets of copper, which is what we need, and then zinc, which also has MB, okay? So how much was it? It was, right, 90% copper, eh? So then 9 and 1. Let's see if I just toss them in like this. Okay, the materials go directly in, right? So here it shows 1 zinc, which I think we already placed. Zinc. And now the rest will be copper, okay? So we need to put in 9 copper. As you can see there, the temperature is dropping and stabilizing with the other items. So all of this is now going to melt. We have, again, this zinc. And now all of this is going to combine. There it is. It's combining. We have a 1090 ratio. And basically what we do is grab an ingot mold. Okay, there I get 100 out of 100 MB. It says it's very hot. It says the contents have solidified. And this says 100 out of 100 MLB of brass, okay? Let's wait for it to cool down. And now that it's cooled, I can crouch down and right click. Here I have the brass ingot, okay? Which is still a bit hot. But here I have the brass ingot without any issues. And with this same system, we could make rose gold, weak blue steel, okay? Sterling silver, weak red steel, bronze, brass, black bronze, weak steel, and bismuth bronze, okay? So there you go. As long as we have, of course, charcoal here underneath. Remember, I'm almost out, and the materials. The $1 million question, can I put this back in here? Yes, of course, obviously. Obviously, I can melt it down again, okay? Alright, how can we generate power with the water mill and axles in TerraFirmaCraft? Well, it's actually much simpler than it seems. We just need a water wheel
grab some axles here and find a spot where water flows, like in rivers. Then we'll place this water wheel right in the river, okay? Now, if we don't do it right, or there's not enough space or any issue, it'll break our water wheel, okay? That's why it's breaking on me. If we do it correctly, as you see, it'll start spinning. The height you place it at, as you see, it was almost fully submerged and still works fine. So once we do this, we connect it with an axle and we can hook this up to a gearbox, okay? A gearbox is this element right here. So basically what this does is make it easier to connect or change. For example, if we want to connect the axle energy coming from here and move it to the right, we can do that. Or if we want to move it up top, okay? I think it only has a maximum of one connection per side, okay? Or it can go straight. So, well, here, as you can see, I've made it go straight, okay? This doesn't make any sense. We can just use a normal axle. And I've connected it to a crankshaft, okay? Then to a steel rod, okay? Let me see if I can show it. Well, it's called a steel rod. And basically what this steel rod does is set a bellows in motion, okay? What would we use setting a bellows in motion for? Well, I don't know, to maintain heat or to generate more heat somewhere. Also, as you can see, we can connect it to another gearbox and a bladed axle, okay? We connect it to a trip hammer and put a distinct anvil here. And if we put the ingots here, it would produce that hammer strike that we generate manually, but it would do it automatically. And finally, we can also work with pumps and pipes, okay? To do basically the same thing we did here with the bellows, but with a pump and pipes, okay? There's not much more to it. All right, how do we set up the windmill and the trip hammer? Well, the windmill is super simple, really, okay? Basically, here's the recipe, and what we'll need to set it up is an area high enough to place our axle, okay? For example, this axle here, high enough, spacious enough. We place the axle and start placing the windmill. And as you see, it says, not enough space here, okay? Let's move back a bit more, and here it works, okay? As you see, this thing takes up quite a bit of space, so we'll need plenty of room. And as you see, this is already generating power, okay? This is already going at 0.79 rad per second. However, this one that's lower goes at the same speed, okay? So you can also see that height doesn't really affect it much either. And that's it. We just place another axle under the gearbox, and we'd have this thing spinning, all right? Like in this case here. So how do we connect this to a trip hammer? Well, again, with a gearbox, we go from one place to another, connect it to a blade axles box, all right? The crafting is different. You add a steel ingot. And this basically is going to turn slowly towards the trip hammer, the trip hammer is a piece like this, where you place the hammer, all right? And basically when it gets there, it lifts the hammer and makes it strike. What's this useful for? Well, to automatically hit the steel anvil, all right? And so we can have automatic crafting and all that, all right? So it's that simple. All right, how can we transfer water with pumps and pipes in Minecraft with TerraFirmaCraft? Well, basically, if we've generated a power source like a water wheel, or we've placed the windmills on an axle, we transfer this energy with a gearbox, okay? I, for example, brought it up here, then here, and you bring it here and here. Basically, what you do is connect a crankshaft. Inside the crankshaft, what we do is place the steel rod. Okay, that steel rod is going to be moving to power the steel pump, all right? This steel pump is going to be connected to the steel pipes, okay, which are going to come from down here. Got it? So the steel pipe needs to be connected to water. Well, I don't know if it works with lava too, but it needs to be connected to water that's not flowing, okay? If it's flowing, we won't be able to collect the water. And what is this good for? Well, this would be useful for aqueducts. It would help us make a water source, okay? It's just that I haven't set it up very well. But if I now start placing solid blocks here with this enclosed, okay, you're going to see that this 2x2 is actually going to fill up, okay? Let's do it correctly. We place it like this, and that 2x2 should fill up. There it is. It's filling up slowly, and now it's filled. If this were more extensive, okay? If we had something much bigger instead of a 2x2, it would also fill up without any problem until it's complete, eh? I mean, it's not like, well, at least I haven't seen any kind of limit, but so you can see it fills up slowly. This would be useful for crops and other things.